Alrighty, welcome back to the Frostcast. This is episode 9, and I know it's been a little bit, but we're finally back in action.
Yeah, we're back in action.
And today we have a special guest. We have Thomasina Fizdale.
You can say
that's it, right?
It's Thomasina Fizdale.
Fizdale.
Okay.
Man, yeah. I almost got it right.
It's alright. It's a hard name. I don't really expect it.
I always want to put a T in there. Like
a lot
Fitz.
of people do. Yeah.
I don't know why. Where's that last name come from?
It was, it's like a relatively new name. I think my grandpa made it that. I think it's, like an Americanized version of like a Turkish last name.
Oh,
Turkish,
okay.
Yeah.
Turkish.
Yeah.
What's your background then, like as far as like
ethnicity.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, but like from all over, but they kind of all ended up in Russia and then came to America. But a lot of my family's from like Turkey, Georgia, like Dagestan area, and then like on my dad's side, and then my mom's side is more like northern Russia, like Yakutia, which is like way the fuck out in Siberia, and then yeah, just kind of like from all over. And
so
then they came to America like less than 100 years ago or something.
Okay. So we know where you got that dog from.
That dog. Your dog is Donnie, you know.
Not no more. I shaved. If anyone didn't realize, I shaved the beard. I'm baby Donnie now.
The last 3 times, like I've been outside like the gym smoking a joint, and you come walk up, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then you get closer, and
I'm like waving. I'm like, what's that guy? You're like,
this is crazy person trying to smoke weed.
Who's joining the circle right now?
This is Donnie.
But, the name comes from Israel too.
Huh?
The name comes from Israel too. And it's the 8,968,613th most common name.
That's probably members of my family that went to Israel instead of America.
It says 4 people bear this surname.
Yeah.
Have you ever
That's
been
crazy.
to like that side of the world or
to
like
Russia and like
Russia or Israel or just outside of the?
Yeah, I've been to like Europe. I haven't been to Russia. I'm not super interested in going there. I mean, I think my family left for like pretty bad reasons. Like their villages were like getting raided and like their like all their kids were getting like murdered and
this
shit.
is like great.
Then my great grandma came over and she was like the youngest of like 7 siblings and she was like a kid when they came over, but there was a kind of like a war going on. It was like the revolution happening in Russia where like the communists were like overthrowing the monarchy, and before she died she like made this tape and recorded it and like left it. I've never seen it, but my dad has, and he told me that in that she was talking about like being posted up like outside of the family's property like with a shotgun like while her brothers were like out killing like just like whoever was trying to like kill them, and that she was just supposed to stand there and like shoot anyone that like walked past. So like they were like dealing with some crazy shit, and then just like came to America and you know, did that whole American thing, and
so what part of Europe have you been to?
I've been to France. I've been like Paris, and then southern France, like Biarritz area.
Okay.
I've been to Spain. I've been to England. Let's see. I've been to Germany. I've been to Italy. I love Italy. It's probably like my favorite place to go.
Cameraman.
Yeah.
The man behind the camera.
Yeah, you were in Italy too.
You spent the last 5 years in Italy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I like I was in northern Italy last year for my friend's engagement. That was really cool. I like southern Italy. I like more Mediterranean.
What parts in northern?
We were like around like Como.
Yeah. Nice. Como's super nice.
Yeah. We were in a town called Verona. Kind of like near Lake Bellagio. It was nice. Yeah. It was beautiful.
How were the people out there?
Oh, I love Italians, dude.
Yeah.
It's gotta be one of my favorite. Gotta be one of my favorite cultures.
The food's probably amazing.
Food's great. People are great. Really hard to find weed.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, and so when I was 18, I barely graduated from this, like, a music school that I went to, and then I went to go live in Paris.
What made you want to do that?
'Cause there was a composer that lived there that, he was the last living student of this composer that I had studied, and I was really curious, so I went over there with this program to check it out. And I ended up, like, not doing any music. Like, I ended up just getting, like, fucked up and, like, partying. And, like, it was super fun. Like, I was 18. And, like, when you're 18, you're an adult, you know, in in France. Like, you can drink, you can party, whatever. And it was hard to find weed, but you could find hash. Like, if people would come up to you on the street and ask you for a cigarette, and then they would, like, trade you hash, but it wasn't, like, weed. It was, like, this shitty hash.
You do, like, spliffs or
So
something?
what is hash? Like, what's the difference there?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how it's made. I think it's, like...
Isn't it, like, the
stuff that comes
like
out.
It's the powder that comes out at the
like
bottom of a
crystal
grinder.
Yeah,
It's
but
the
I
portion
think
that
it's,
comes out.
compressed. Like, it would come in, like,
Yeah.
those little, like...
So
almost
do
like
you
rocks.
smoke it, or how?
You just put it in spliffs and smoke it
Okay.
like that. I think if you
Sometimes you
were
don't
to smoke
put
it
it in bongs.
Yeah,
like
you just mix it in.
Yeah. When back when I used to do bongs, bongs
I have killed him many times on a
bongs are
bong.
kind of crazy. I don't know, but
The first time I took a bong rip, I thought I went blind because I was with my boyfriend when I was like 19 or whatever, and I'd smoked a lot of weed before then, but always just like pipes or like joints and blunts. And he had like it wasn't his, it was his roommate's. He had like a huge bong, like this tall. It was like one
like
of
a
those,
5-footer.
Yeah, it was like the size of like a short person. You
Just
know?
stand up to hit it.
Yeah, and we were in his basement, and we took like huge hits, and then I was like super lightheaded, and I was like, I'm gonna go get some fresh air. So I walk upstairs and I open the door. And you know when you get hit with the sunlight and it kind of blinds you for a minute, but then your eyes adjust? But like I got hit with the sunlight and then my eyes just like didn't adjust for like a long time. So it was
Oh
just
my
like,
goodness.
yeah, I thought I went blind, but you know, I'm all right now.
That's scary.
So I'm kind of interested. Like, where did the interest for music? When did that come about?
So I think it's like a cultural thing. Like everyone in my like family was expected to like play an instrument. There's a lot of musicians in my family, so I think that was part of it too.
Okay.
So I played violin from a very young age. I started when I was, I think, 4 or 5, and I just did that like every day after school, and I didn't really like it. I actually kind of hated it. I have memories of like breaking my violins because I just like hated it so much.
Yeah.
But you know, I had to do it. I didn't have a choice.
Was it like Bo Jackson style, just over the knee?
No,
Over the knee.
I would climb on top of our piano and I would like smash it. I did that like a couple times, and then
And your parents would just buy you a new one?
Oh yeah, it would be bad for me, and then I would get a new one.
So
It was like punishment was getting me a new one.
You did that through middle school, and in high school is when you went off to France and did.
No, I
overseas
actually
stuff, or?
I went to France after high school. So I went to school in Chicago for a long time, that's where I'm from. And then when I was 16, so like going into junior year, I kind of just wanted to like get out. Like I was just sick of like living at home, and I just wanted to do my own thing, kind of like whatever that was. I didn't really care. And I was like, well, I can play violin and do this, so I'll see where that can take me. And then I got into this like arts boarding school in northern Michigan, which is like not a very fun place to be, but
Northern
yeah,
Michigan?
I was just it's
Cold.
home.
Yeah, quite cold over there.
Cold as fuck. I think one year we had like no sunlight or something. It was some dumb shit. Like, why would you live there? And like this is Michigan, right? We're like up here, like right by like Canada.
You're just playing sad violin songs.
Well, no, I wasn't. I went there for violin, and then I was like, fuck this. I suck at violin compared to like the other kids.
Because
like,
people
really
that
good.
are committed are doing like 8 hours a day, right? Like they were like.
I just wanted to not be at home for no good reason. I just wanted to go do something else.
Yeah.
So I get into the school, I do violin, and then I switch to music composition.
Okay.
And I had a lot of fun with that, but mostly I was just doing LSD, and they were drug testing me and shit. I was like a bad kid, you know, so I was getting suspended a lot. I had detention every weekend, like all this stuff. And then they started drug testing me because they caught me smoking weed. Which, like, whatever, not a big deal. But then, you know, weed comes up in a drug test, so I couldn't smoke weed, so I started, like, doing a bunch of acid and mushrooms. And then I started just, like, it was, like, I'm 16, 17, 18. I'm doing a bunch of, like, psychedelic drugs in the woods with my friends at an art school where I don't have to do, like, math or science or history or English.
Yeah.
And I just get to, like, fuck around with instruments all day. Like, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Sounds like
yeah.
sounds fun.
Yeah. So then, from there, I, like, found this program that then took me to France. So that's kind of...
Do you I don't know. I don't know if I would say are you glad, but like growing up that way, like do you like that you went through that kind of lifestyle growing up, or do you wish you were more like kind of goody, like no getting into no trouble and stuff like?
I don't think I have a choice. I'm glad I am who I am. I think it was hard sometimes, like on my parents.
Yeah.
It was hard on my mom. You know, I didn't talk to her for a few years while I was like doing really bad shit, just because I knew it would like break her heart.
Did she know you were doing some of those things when you were in Michigan, or?
And when I was she knew because she was getting calls from the school.
Oh.
They were like, they sent me home. I had like a 2-week detention, like it was like right before or right before Thanksgiving break. So I just had like a really long Thanksgiving. I didn't mind, you know.
Really?
But my parents were never super hard on me about that stuff. Like they were hard on me about I have to be like, they held me to high expectations.
Yeah.
So I always kind of like performed well, you know, like I always did well at the things I was doing. I was just also doing other shit.
Just
you know?
distracted and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it ruined a lot of my like good years of my life. Like the ages of like 18 to like 22 were like really rough for me because I was just like kind of fucked off. But I do think that it was good for my life generally because it gave me a lot of perspective. Like I got to see
Good
a lot
eye
of
opener.
interesting things and honestly do things that were pretty cool that I have way better judgment now that I would never do.
Well, and I don't know a lot of 18-year-olds that will just like pack up and move out of the country.
I mean,
like
France.
that's pretty
Yeah.
insane.
You're
Like your parents were just like, all right, or were you just like, I'm doing this no matter what?
I was just like, I'm doing this, and they didn't seem to have a problem with it. My parents are kind of old, so like, I think they were just like, you know, I'm the youngest, right? So
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
I have
Family?
one full sibling,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
my dad, my mom is my dad's like third, fourth wife. I don't know. So we don't really talk about.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you have some of the half siblings.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's like rumors, you know. It's
Rumors,
very.
yeah.
I feel like very like you know.
Yeah.
But my parents were great. I love my parents.
No, yeah.
But it was definitely like I was given a lot of like independence and freedom as a kid.
Yeah.
It was like high expectations, but also like I grew up in downtown Chicago, so I would just.
How was it, you know, growing up in Chicago and living there? Because I've heard, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
hear rumors about Chicago. Not rumors, but like
The
you hear
deep
things
dish
about
is so
Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it, like, you know, growing up and actually living there and, you know, being in downtown Chicago?
I mean, downtown isn't super. I mean, it's different now. When I was growing up, downtown was like pretty safe.
Mhm.
Like maybe my judgment was poor, or maybe I just got lucky, you know. But like I always felt safe in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then I went to school pretty far away. I went to school like on the south side of Chicago, adjacent to like a really bad neighborhood, but not like in a really bad neighborhood. So
Also, it
like
was nearby a bad neighborhood, but
Yeah, it's
necessarily
just,
wasn't
like-
in a bad neighborhood per se.
yeah, and it was a neighborhood where like I don't know, R. Kelly like picked up a lot of girls at like the other high school, you know, like not ours.
Dang it.
Yeah, dang it.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved growing up in Chicago. Like there's so much to do. Like in the summer, like there's like street festivals everywhere you go, and like you know, it's just a really casual like good time. You know, it's not like I lived in New York after I left Paris, and that was more like there's a high like rate of entry, you know, where like if you want to like ball out and like have a lot of fun and get super fucked up and do a bunch of drugs or whatever, it's kind of expensive. In Chicago, it's like
Yeah.
not, you know, it's like
Yeah.
you can kind of get like have a great time for like very little money. So it was fun
Yeah.
being a teenager
So
there.
it's like the Spirit Airlines of having fun.
Yeah. I love Chicago. It's a great city. It is violent. There is like a terrible issue with like gang violence there, but
And
it also
just
is
certain parts. Or
parts.
Just kind of, okay.
Yeah.
But like I don't
I
know, the
liked
building I
it
grew
up
up in
there.
has gunshots in it now. Like there's like bullet holes in like the building I grew up in that weren't there when I lived there.
Oh man.
But
How often do you go back to Chicago?
like once a year.
Okay. Oh, to visit family.
Yeah, just visit my mom.
Yeah. So how was New York? That's
We're big New York fans.
That's
if you
been
can't
on the
tell.
bucket list for so long.
Yeah,
Just
neither
getting
of us
out there
been out
watching a
there.
Giants game or
We've been
Yankees
out
game.
there.
Yeah, I mean I think New York it's an incredible city. There's nothing like it in the world.
What part
Yeah.
did you hang out in, like Manhattan, or?
I moved to New York. So I wasn't gonna go. I was not going to go to college, and my mom was like, "Just apply to a college, and like see if you get in or whatever."
This was after you were in.
This is while I was in France. I was
Oh,
like,
while you were in France.
I was like telling my mom, I was like, I'm gonna come back to America, but like, I don't want to like go to school. And she was like, well, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, then you kind of have to like apply for, you know, like you need a plan.
Get some
So-
schooling.
I applied to one school. I applied to NYU. I got in. I was not excited that I got in because then I was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
So that took me there. So I was in Manhattan, like Lower East Side.
I've heard that's a pretty,
Yeah, like-
pretty nice spot, right?
Yeah, like East
Pretty-
Village, Lower East
Yeah.
Side. It's nice. It was cool. Like Washington Square Park. right there. It was beautiful. But then I lived in Brooklyn, and then I lived in Queens.
Brooklyn seems
Kind of all the boroughs there.
Yeah. I like Queens.
Queens.
Queens was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed living in Queens. It was like more of a neighborhood.
Isn't Queens one of the bigger boroughs in New York,
Huge.
right?
Yeah. Or as they would say in New York, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Did you pick up any accents out there?
Nah. I think I still talk like I'm from the Midwest, which is a little embarrassing, but whatever.
I love like the New York, like Boston accents.
New York.
Like we were just talking about earlier, like the Niba, you
The
know?
Niba.
Niba.
Accents are weird. I don't know. Sometimes people say like I sound like I'm from like the Midwest. I'm like
You
I
do.
have no association with the Midwest, so I don't get that. I don't get it.
I went to Chicago one time, but you know,
I've been there once.
Went there one time, picked up an accent.
Yeah, the Chicago accent, my dad has a thick Chicago accent. Like, he doesn't pronounce his THs, like, they're all Ds. It's weird. I don't like it. I feel like it's like kind of like a nasally, like Chicago. Not that bad, but that's like, New York accent's cool. It's like
It
tough,
is.
yeah.
Our grandpa, sometimes I'm talking to him, he'll say stuff. I'm like, all right, that's East Coast.
Yeah, definitely is.
Like,
Your grandpa's
what?
from the East Coast?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
from
he's from-
Florida, but yeah, him. They moved to New York like when he had my dad and stuff.
Yeah.
Staten Island, they lived for the most part. I think they were in New Jersey at one point, right?
I think it was Staten Island. So they're from Staten Island, or at least my dad's from Staten Island. And when they had my oldest sister, it's when they moved to Oregon.
Yeah.
But I guess that's. So what brings you to Oregon? Like, what brought you from New York
That's-
or Chicago,
that's the big
France, all the way to
question.
Oregon of all places?
That's,
Before,
yeah, so
yeah.
that was, it was a choice, man. It kind of was and it wasn't a choice, actually. I was in New York, and, like, it started off well, and then it got crazy. And what can I say? I was in some bad situations. I was
Yeah,
tied
yeah.
up with some bad people.
Just needed to change up.
Yeah, I needed to get very far away from the East Coast, and I couldn't go to LA because there were people in LA that I was not on good terms with that I just didn't want to run into them. I didn't want a
Yeah.
chance being in the same city.
Exactly.
Not that I felt like they were going to come looking for me, but I just felt very vulnerable at that time. So I happened to have a lot of cash on me. So I was like, I'm going to like move across the country and just start my life like fresh.
Awesome.
Do that. So I was kind of just picking between like places on the West Coast that weren't in California, and I like really, really hate Seattle. So
Seattle's pretty bad.
I fucking hate
Seattle's-
Seattle.
We were
Seattle
just
has
we were
its-
just taking in whiffs of fentanyl last time we were up there.
I feel like Seattle's very hit or miss. You know, for us, like the park, so near T-Mobile Park, we go up there just about every year to watch a
Watch
Mariners
some
game.
baseball,
Yeah.
And it's like when we're walking around, like certain parts of Seattle, very, very nice. Then you hook around
Aurora
the
Ave.
wrong corner, you're like, oh god.
All of a sudden, there's
this
like a
fentanyl
guy
city.
screaming.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like we saw a guy screaming at himself and like banging his head on a wall, and we're just like,
It's
ah.
intense. And it's kind of
feel-
the same with Portland now, like downtown Portland.
I was gonna say we've seen that downtown.
It's
Downtown's
kind of-
improved.
It's better than it was in 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll give it that.
Oh, the
But it sucks
100
because,
straight
like,
days of
Because we
protesting.
grew up
Oh.
in Portland, so like
You've seen the whole.
So,
Yeah,
like-
we've seen it go
like
from-
when we were in high school,
Oh, yeah.
like say like 2015, like going downtown was a shit. Like
Yeah.
going down there and walking around, like it was just such a great area to go.
You weren't
do
gonna see
things.
like some tweaker. Like,
Yeah, it was just like
jerking
it was
off
just
on-
like a it was just like a it was like a
feces.
it was like a
around.
regular cool it was like a regular cool little downtown area. Like there's a lot of people walking around, a lot of cool stores.
It was a
like,
very
good
like
views.
vibrant downtown.
Dude,
it was
that's
very
how
nice.
I felt when I first moved. I moved here in July of 2018.
Okay, yeah.
My
Oh yeah, it's still.
It was
you know.
beautiful. My best friend, who I grew up with, she was living in Portland, so I had like someone to be, be a friend, whatever, introduce me to the city kind of thing. And like I visited first, went home to Chicago to like bring some things to my like parents' house and like leave them there, and then came out here. And I was like, holy shit, like what a beautiful place, you know, like coming from New
You
York.
must have came in the summer though. It must have been sunny.
I was gonna say,
It wasn't
yeah,
raining
like,
yet.
Oregon itself is a very beautiful
It is,
place.
yeah,
You
and
know?
then
It's
it's, like-
just you get downtown, you get kind of like around like the big cities is where it gets a little rough, you know, and
Exactly.
it's not too good. But once you go outside of that, I mean, we have a lot of great nature and all that good stuff, and it's a beautiful state. It's just, you know, people get the rep of Portland. They see it on the news. They see Portland's this, Portland's that, but they don't look, you know, at Oregon itself as a state, and that's what kind of.
But that's the same for a lot of areas. Like
Exactly,
California,
yeah.
everyone looks at like L.A.
San
but, like,
Francisco.
There's
Or
so many
Oakland.
good San Francisco, but there's so many good like
Yeah.
little cities outside of that area.
I will
Like-
say like Oregon. I've been to most states in America, and Oregon is one of the most beautiful places. Like I think honestly in the world. Like
Do you think it's your favorite state, or do you think?
Yeah, out of all the places you've been,
Are we talking about states? Just like not.
well, actually,
not
we'll go
cities?
United States. How about
Just-
United States? Like best state you've been in.
Yeah, again.
Top
I
three.
think
Top three.
It dep- like overall, like if we're talking about like all seasons, I would probably say Oregon, just because the winters are not that bad.
Yeah.
I would say Montana in the summer is like unlike anything else.
Montana's cool.
Yeah, like
We've been up
I'm
The
there.
in
mountains and
Whitefish.
stuff.
So beautiful. But I recently went to the like southeast with Amanda Lowen and
Yeah.
did some jujitsu stuff down there.
The
And I
great
really
Amanda
like Georgia. Georgia was cool as
Is it
fuck.
kind of humid over there?
It's humid, but
Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, you would know.
It was humid, and then we were all
General.
training in this like tiny. It's like a pretty small gym, 10th Planet Atlanta. There's not a lot of ventilation. It's
Oh god.
definitely not set up to be a gym.
Yeah. But they
So
make
it
it
was
a gym.
hot as fuck. It was nasty. I got some ringworm.
I was
when
gonna say
in
there's
Florida.
some
That-
infections rolling around.
It was something else.
That's
it
how
was like, not
Thailand is. It's so
normal.
hot out there. Like in Thailand, like one little cut,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
done for. You're done for. But I guess that's a good transition. Like, we didn't really introduce this yet, but Thomasina is like one of the coaches over there at 10th Planet Portland. That's our home gym. The guy behind the camera's home gym. One of the coaches. She's an active competitor. Just a beast.
I'm an assistant coach. Let's
Assistant coach, but you're still doing.
We're hyping you up over
We're
here.
hyping you
We'll
up,
gas you up a little
Thanks,
bit.
guys.
But-
I just want to
But I just want to let the people know because we did get into like 10th Planet Atlanta and like
Yeah,
it is good to let people know that you are into jiu-jitsu.
training.
You're training a lot. You're training basically every day.
So when did that start for you? Was it when you moved to Oregon?
No, I actually started jujitsu. It goes back a while. When I growing up in Chicago, my dad, he is old as fuck. He's 84 right now. So
Okay.
he was retired by the time I was born, pretty much. So he just like liked working. So he just like got involved in different businesses and stuff. So one of the things that he did was he just like owned a gym, like a local like neighborhood gym that people would go work out at.
Okay.
And then he was really interested in jiu-jitsu because I think he knew like someone in the Gracie family or something. So he got hooked up with, at that time, the ADCC women's world champion, Hanette Stack, and her husband, Andre, or ex-husband now, Andre, and they were from Brazil, and they wanted to start a branch of their Brazilian gym in Chicago. So he gave them the basement space of his gym.
That's
And
cool.
then at that time, like my parents required that I did a sport.
Was it gi?
It was gi, but I hated sports
Yeah.
because I'm not like a team oriented person. Like I
Mhm.
have a heart. Like I'm like I don't even know what side I'm on. Like it's not good.
Team sports were so political too.
Yeah.
We had to deal
Oh,
with
yeah.
so much
Yeah,
of that.
and especially going to like high school sports,
Cleveland.
it's always political.
Yeah, and I was
it's a
just, like-
coach's kid or
And it's super competitive, but they're also like your friends, but you're also a kid, and it's just it's weird.
It's
And
just, it's a
So,
weird
so
atmosphere.
you weren't feeling that vibe.
I wasn't feeling it, so I did tennis and shit, and then my parents were like, okay, like you need to like do like a real sport. So, so my dad,
Oh man.
my
Shout
dad
out
was
those
like,
tennis players out there, dude.
Yeah, our
It's
brother.
not a real sport.
yeah. No, I still love tennis, and it's fun, but
Fun to
I'm
play,
glad I
yeah.
got into jiu-jitsu. So my dad was like, okay, you're gonna do this. So I would go, and I got one of my friends to do it with me, so I had like a training partner, because everyone else was like imported from Brazil. So I'm talking about like 6'2",
They were
purple belt named
dominant
Diago,
shit.
who like maybe killed someone. Like it was Yeah.
May or may not have
it was an
a.
intimidating fucking like.
No extradition.
Also like there were people like Stefan Bonner was training. Like it was.
With you at that gym?
He was at that gym. I don't think.
He was
How
an ultimate fighter,
how
right?
old were you? Was this middle school?
Yeah, I was 12.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
You started from a young age.
Yeah, so I did it for only a year. And then I told my parents I was still doing it, but I was sneaking it. I was leaving my house with my gear, going to my friend's house nearby and like smoking weed. So I didn't really do it that
What,
much.
what were you do? How do you tell them that you don't have laundry though? They're like, you come home and you're just like,
I
you
did my
just
own
soak
laundry.
it or something.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
wash your own
I would wash
non-used
my
clothes.
yeah, the cleanest thing in America,
Just-
guys. But I got my yellow belt.
Cool.
And then, I just, it just wasn't that, like, I liked it, but it wasn't very interesting to me, and it also was, like, I was the only kid, really, except for my friend that would only go if I was there, so it was just, like, not that much fun, and then, in 2020, I was going to start up again, but then COVID hit, and then I couldn't find a gym. And I wish I found 10th Planet, because y'all were, like, I shouldn't say anything, but, you know, like, there were people training.
There were. But
yeah.
I wasn't, I know you probably weren't, like, in on that. You didn't have that, like, in yet, because I feel like that was only for people that were, like, already in it.
We wouldn't have been included.
We wouldn't have been
baby
included.
White belts, yeah.
So what got you to Portland, though? Like the 10th Planet Portland.
Yeah, I was, in 2020, I was interested in doing it again, and then I stopped thinking about it in COVID, and then I just was working a lot, and then in the summer of 2021, everything was kind of like opening back up, and I was like, okay, you know, like, here's something that I kind of enjoyed when I was a kid, and I was going through a phase of, like, trying to get back into things that, you know, were just different than work and, like, going out and getting fucked up with, like, my friends.
Yeah.
So,
that can become a depressing
cycle. Yeah, it was getting sad, and, like, I think, at that point I was just, like, had just gotten out of, like, a weird relationship, and I just needed to do something, so.
Yeah, I kind of have the same vibe, that's kind of what I did, yeah.
And I was gonna join Henzo Gracie, and I didn't, because I started looking up, like, what is 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and I was like, oh wait, I don't have to wear this fucking annoying ass
I don't need to wear pajamas?
I don't need to wear pajamas, and I like the culture of it. Like, I'm very conspiratorially minded. I like Eddie Bravo. I like smoking a lot of weed. I don't like feeling judged for that.
Yeah.
And, like, I love the environment, 10th Planet Portland, a lot. The community is extremely important to me. And it's just, like, I love being around people that want to, like, go hard, get after it, and then also, like, you know, enjoy your life, you know? Like, so it's that vibe that I really appreciate, that I gravitated toward that.
You definitely found the right spot. I was going to go to Brazilian top team. That was, like, one of the places I hit up, because I knew someone that was working there for them.
Oh.
And he still trains there, but he actually used to live with us at one point, Justice.
Oh,
Yeah. But then that's when I met Tex, and Tex was like, yo, I got, like, this gym, so he gave me the whole story. Took me down to his basement and was like, "Oh, I got some things to show you."
Dude, that's so fucking weird. But that was so weird. If it was anyone else but Tex, you know?
I honestly think it made me more interesting, because I'm like, this guy is an interesting character. Now he's a really good friend of mine. So.
Oh yeah, we love Tex.
We'll wrap it up, and then
so yeah, we'll be right back. So we'll kind of continue up on your origin story of 10th Planet Portland on this next segment. So we'll be right back, guys, and we're back. We're back into the podcast with Thomasina. We're gonna jump back where we were to your origin story. Yeah. You know, we were kind of talking about, like, your start of jiu-jitsu, like, obviously when you were 12, but now, you know, let's hear about what brought you to 10th Planet Portland, what kept you around?
I mean, I really loved Amanda's teaching. I started...
And Amanda
Lowen.
Yeah.
So I started in August of 2021 at 10th Planet Portland, and my fundamentals coach was Amanda Lowen.
And she's the first black belt in Oregon, right?
First female black belt in Oregon.
That's really cool.
And she was, I think, she still retains her undefeated at SUG champ at 145.
She fought
undefeated
MMA
in MMA.
You said SUG?
Yeah, SUG, Submission Underground.
That's Chael Sonnen's
thing.
Oh, that's Chael Sonnen?
Yeah. She beat up a lot of bad bitches on there, too.
Yeah. You're like, they're pretty hot.
Beat up a lot of bad bitches.
Yeah, she did MMA.
Like, bad bitches, like, hot, or, like, they were, like, bad bitches, like they were badass?
Like, they were bad. They could fight.
Okay, gotcha. I was trying to clarify, like, were they hot?
I don't pay attention to what they look like.
Bad bitches, whoa.
But then, I think, that whole card was, like, so fucking cool, and I think that, like, Chael was allegedly thinking about doing it again, but then didn't.
So
I would love to see that.
Is that like
he came out to Spokane?
Yeah, Spokane.
Is that that's his promotion?
Yeah, he like ran the whole thing, and it was really cool. It was very professional. A lot of, like, UFC fighters, and it was nice.
Sean Strickland competed on there. Hey, Michael,
Sean Strickland,
can you pull up Sub Sean Strickland? That was a cool match. Andy Varela, like, jumps on his back.
This is young Connor right here against Max. Right? Is that Max?
I hope so. I want this to happen. I want Connor to beat Chandler And if he beats Chandler, I want him to call out Max for the BMF.
Dude, I want
That
Connor
would
to
be
fuck
insane.
off, dude.
Oh.
I want Connor to fuck off.
I was gonna say,
Hey,
don't even
we
know
do
what
not
to say.
tolerate Conor
no
McGregor
Conor
hate here.
slander here. We're
No
big
Conor
You're
slander.
your fan.
We're a big Conor
We're
household.
like honestly those like delusional like Conor fans. You
He
know,
can
like,
still he can become
yeah,
triple
you know
champ.
how they have like the Khabib fanboys.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're like the biggest Conor fan. Oh, he could take
But
that
I-
defense
but I-
against
but I
Khabib.
do-
You know?
Great.
But I do like a lot of other guys now. Like I'm a big Sean O'Malley
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
I'm still a big Izzy fan. I mean, he does some weird stuff sometimes, but I really love his fighting style.
I think he's still talented. I don't like this whole idea of him like.
He can win the title back like that.
What's up?
I mean,
It's
he's-
not on there. There's no sug for. But I found a Sean O'Malley on
No. Look up
Submission
Sean
on
Strickland.
Yeah, I did. I said Sean Strickland, SEG, Jiu-Jitsu competition.
There's
There's
no
nothing.
Try
No
try
film for
looking
that.
up Andy. Was it Andy Varela
Andy
versus
Varela.
Sean Strickland?
That was that on Sug? I thought that was like somewhere else.
Or maybe just look up Andy Varela versus Sean Strickland.
Wait, is that the
I
ma-
thought it was
That
Sug.
was,
Is-
no,
is-
that was way more recent.
Is that the match where like Sean Strickland like just kind of goes like that and
Yeah.
he jumps on his back?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was I see that. That was
Yeah,
that was
there's still
pretty nice.
Sean Strickland just kind of like shadow boxed at him for like a while. It was pretty funny. Like, but Andy Varela
Nothing.
is also an MMA athlete. You know, like he's
Yeah.
not just a jiu-jitsu guy. So it's not like he doesn't have game on the feet. Sean is just way better at striking.
Oh yeah.
Sean's his like I think it was the first round against Izzy when he like.
Oh my. When he
Oh my
rocked
god!
him. Basically almost.
He,
I
like,
thought it was gonna be over.
I thought that was it.
I still can't get over Sean O'Malley like beating Aljo and now beating
That's
Cheeto.
impressive.
Yeah.
I was so bummed. Like I was out of town at that point for that fight, but I saw like statistics. And he just fucking outstruck him. Like he just dominated.
What do you think
Cheeto
happens
out.
between Sean and Marab?
I think
That's
people are
tough.
like Marab's gonna take him down. Like,
You don't think so?
dude, I think Sean O'Malley is like so good at this point. Like he's the confidence of being the champ,
Oh, yeah.
defending it 2 times already. Like Marab's pretty short. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time closing that distance. Like Sean O'Malley's gonna be throwing knees.
Exactly.
He's gonna be constantly switching stances. And even if he does get taken down, he showed against like Aljo, who's just as good of a wrestler. Yeah, he can get back up. He has
You
submission
think Aljo
skills
is as good of a wrestler
as Marab. He maybe not as high paced as Marab.
Yeah.
Marab
But
is-
but you just saw
He's bigger.
his last fight on 300 against Calvin Gator. He was just picking up and slamming
The
him.
Captain Gator, it's no joke, man.
Like,
Should
He's-
we
that's a
talk
tough-
shit about that fight? I think it was a beautiful fight. Like,
Well, for
It
you guys being like
Yeah, yeah,
submission
yeah.
people,
We like to
that's
see
like
that,
like
yeah.
someone like a casual like me. It's like, man, I just want to see someone get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
you know what I
I'm
mean?
sure.
Like, that's all I want to see. I want to see them slag and bang.
he's breaking
But for
down
you
this guy's
guys,
4
I-
points so well.
Yeah, I could see how that would be like for you guys and like those like people that love the ground game. Like he loves when we're watching fights. Some of my other buddies are just like,
Ooh,
man,
Sean
like,
O'Malley.
let's just see someone get their ass kicked, and he's just like, no, like, watch what he's doing on the ground. Like he's setting something
Because
up.
it
you know what I
depends.
mean?
Someone the ground can be boring if it's stalling, but if both people are working and like throwing strikes and throwing like it's
Or throwing
fun.
subs, like Oliveira's
That's what I'm saying.
is
Like Charles Oliveira,
not working lately.
you're not complaining
he's
when Charles
too-
Oliveira falls.
Well,
to the
okay,
ground.
those two submission
I am
attempts he
sometimes.
had against Armand, that last fight was like that. What was it?
That
Like,
darts at the end?
guillotine? Is that what it was?
It,
right?
so it's
The first round, I think he got a guillotine.
That
yeah,
was
at
pretty-
the
that looked
very
like it was
end,
pretty tight.
he had a Darson that I thought was it. Like I thought it was so in, and
Well,
I thought he was gonna.
I
get
thought he
this
was out for a second. It looked like he was like, I mean, he was just kind of sitting there like the
Like,
what's his
fuck,
name,
whatever.
Armand. Like I was like, oh, he's
Yo,
got choked out, dude. Like,
Yo, that Wei
he's
Li
not
fight,
conscious.
the Wei Li fight,
She went out.
She went out in the first round and got back up and then
Kept
had a 5-round battle with her. I was like, what in the?
Dude, those girls are fucking. So they're both Chinese. I think you know how Cuba and like former Soviet countries run like wrestling programs where they basically just like make all the guys like fight for more food. So if you're in like the
Like
elite-
Euro.
if you're like if you're like number
Guys are
one,
beasts.
you can like eat all the food that you want and you have like 3 meals a day. And if you're not number one and you're like not competing internationally and like getting to the UFC or like getting to like the Olympics, then you're like eating 2 meals a day. But you also have to like be wrestling all the time, so it's really hard. So it like creates this crazy environment of competition. And I feel like China is doing the same thing because you see all these like rising stars in China, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like,
Absolutely.
they weren't really in the UFC until recently.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, and like I feel like they probably have some crazy like communist program to just like engineer
Oh yeah.
insane MMA athletes, and they're just gonna like dominate.
I mean, I feel like all countries to a degree have that. I mean, maybe not America, but like Russia,
Russia
Oh,
does.
they like
China.
train, like,
That's what I'm saying. It's like the
Brazil.
Soviet countries, yeah.
some of those, yeah, it's true. Yeah, the Soviet countries. Some of those Russian guys are. It's really impressive. Like they train at super high elevation, like in the mountains, like fighting bears and shit. And they're
Like
like,
talking about like for the guys from the Caucasus, like
yeah,
like,
they're
Just in there.
like roll with bears, and they're just fucking. Those guys are beasts, dude.
I feel like it just changes probably like your like ability to just like continue like fighting. Like I feel like you sometimes see guys just quit. Like how many times
Yeah.
like especially you don't see this like super elite, but like definitely even pro MMA you'll see guys just fall apart and quit. But like the
Yeah.
Dagestani guys, they don't fucking do that. They just like keep
pushing.
wrestling until
yeah,
it's
they just
done.
keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, their pace is just like
It's
like
insane.
watching like when I watch their fights, it's just like God, like it's impressive. you
It's
know?
it's
Can't
that
wait for
mentality. though.
Chimaev to fight Bo Nickel.
That's gonna be. A
Oh,
cool
that's gonna be a good
one.
one. Yeah, because they're both like really good wrestlers. And I mean, Bo Nickel, people like, I don't know, the hate on Bo Nickel is just kind of ridiculous. So, like,
You know,
He's worked for everyone.
Michael bet on Cody Brennan.
Oh,
showing
hey,
up.
it was a really big
How do you-
thing.
He
But, hey,
downloaded
we were making a
DraftKings.
joke about it, all right? It was
How much you
funny.
put on that? How much you put on
Like $10. I was just, well, it was like it was like a plus 999 or whatever the hell it was.
Okay.
It was like
It was
in
like the
any
worst
sports.
odds ever,
Yeah,
dude.
in any sports history, that fight had the biggest odds.
Yeah,
I put $10 and it would have been like $130 payout, and I was
An
like,
example
fuck yeah.
of this is Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes.
Oh,
She
or
went
Wei
for,
Li.
like
Yeah.
negative 1,000.
The Wei Lee fight had it too. The Wei Lee fight was like huge gap.
So
Yeah.
like,
the
he bet
odds.
essentially on all the underdogs. in
Yeah.
the main event.
And I had like a 5-way parlay with the underdogs winning, and
You
I
got
bet
Max,
like
though.
100. I put like $60 in, and it would have been a payout of like $3,500, and I was like, fuck it. I was like,
you got Max Holloway.
I did get Max Holloway.
Yeah,
You
you
used a
did
big
get that
underdog.
one.
I didn't get that one, but then I
Well,
used that money
well,
on
definitely.
the Alex Perrier fight, and I had a 3-way parlay with him winning
Oh,
in
no.
the winning by knockout after the second after the second and a half round, and then another thing, and they knocked him out in the first round. I was like, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
that
I was like, damn it.
Yeah, that Max
God.
Holloway
Fucked
fight.
up.
Yeah,
That's one of the craziest knockouts
I think that's
I've
like
ever
one of the
seen.
greatest fights of all time.
That was insane.
Because I mean, even Justin Gaethje, like that was a good performance. It
I
just
mean,
Max,
Very good, yeah.
Like, that was
but Max
still,
was still winning like 4 rounds.
Yeah, he was still dominating, but it was still a good fight. Like
It's-
it wasn't
But
like
that, I feel like that is also the, like, when great fights are like you're winning the whole time, and
Yes.
then you like do something that like solidifies it. You know, like how good is
Exactly.
it in a match, like to be up on points and then you get a submission right at the end.
That's a cool
Like that's the
one,
best feeling in
yeah.
the world. Like you dominated someone and then right before the end of the match, you like get your submission and you're like, yeah, it's over. You know, you're dead. Like.
you're dead.
Like
Yeah.
that's what Max
You're
Holloway
dead.
did. He was like, he was like, I'll give you your shot, but like you're dead.
Yeah, I, was
Yeah.
kinda, I thought it was crazy because like he definitely was winning the fight, right? And he could have just easily 10 seconds wrote it out, but he was like, no, let's fucking
This is
swing and
gentleman's
bang, you
agreement
know,
right there.
point in the middle of the octagon, and that was just an impressive knockout.
He,
I mean, that was like.
And he said
top
Gaethje would have done the same thing for him.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think if Gaethje
Well,
was out, he would have done the same thing.
It's I don't know if you guys saw, but he just went on Joe Rogan,
I didn't
and
see
it was
that.
super cool. He talked about it. He talked about how crazy Gaethje is. Like every time he like said he heard Gaethje, he just saw this crazy look in his eyes, and he was just like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to keep rushing this guy."
Dude, Gaethje said the most crazy statement. Like I think it was on like a pre-fight presser. He was like, "I want to die in the octagon," and I was like, "Dude, that is
He did say
fucking
that. Yeah, I heard that.
nuts." Like that's like.
He does too.
I mean, I
believe
love
that.
watching those fighters. Are like, yeah, I want to like.
That's why he had the BMF.
Well, because Justin Gaethje is such a high-level wrestler, he just doesn't wrestle though.
He doesn't use it.
I saw one.
I saw
It's
one
like where he just
wrestler
bounces.
Yeah, he bounces off. He's like, yeah, he's one
Ooh.
submission or one takedown.
right here.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Dude,
Oh.
We lost our minds when watching that fight, dude. We
That
were
was insane.
we got out of our chairs. Like,
Because the whole fight,
no one has ever
we were
done.
like,
No one has ever done that to Justin.
well, because the whole
No
fight
one's
we were
ever
sitting
done
there
that
watching, and we were like, oh man, Max Holloway is
Insane.
picking him apart. There's
Yeah,
no
we-
way.
yeah, we
And
were
then
just
Justin
sitting
Gaethje actually met him in the middle. We were like, yes, like thank you God.
We got
And then
out
just
there.
fucking right,
They're just throwing.
There.
waiting for the
Here.
head.
No.
There it is, right there.
That-
Hey,
that-
yep.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
The way he folded too is
It's-
so crazy. He was just immediately out.
Or the Jamal Hill and fucking Alex Perrier
That
fight.
was nasty.
That
Dude,
was
everyone was
good.
like, oh yeah, he stepped on his foot beforehand. No, he got knocked the fuck out.
Also,
Well, and
You can
that's
make all
a
those
move.
excuses, right?
That is a move. Stepping on someone's
Yeah.
foot.
He stepped on his foot
that's not
and
even
like flatlined
a
him.
reason. Like,
Yeah.
People, People are just trying to discredit Alex Pereira. It's like that guy.
I think that guy
Hall
could
of
win.
Fame
I think
career.
that guy could win the heavyweight strap as
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
Probably,
He's
yeah.
a big guy, dude.
Like he is that
Imagine
good
if
of
he
a
bulked up a
striker.
little bit.
I could see him versus Tom Aspinall.
That'd be a
would
good
big
fight.
You know,
Him
a
and
fight
Tom
I want to
Aspinall.
see that people would sleep on is
What?
Max Holloway versus Islam for the 155
I
strap.
don't think
I
people would
would-
sleep on that. I think that's
I would
I think
An
that's
insane fight.
Max
Yeah.
Max has some of the best takedown defense in
At
the UFC,
145?
or just in general. in
And
the
probably
UFC.
one of the best boxers that ever
And he's
walked
like,
the
and
octagon.
I think he's a way better striker than Islam.
But
So that would be interesting.
I would
to
also
see
like
the
to see
matchup.
Islam fight some of those top guys on 155 because he's only. I mean, he beat Charles, but he just fought Volk twice.
Mhm.
And I'd like to see him. You know, he's got Dustin
I do want to
coming
see him
up.
fight either.
But I'd like to see him fight like Armand again or some of these other like top guys and just kind of like Rafi Al-Fazeev, some of these other
Yeah.
guys. I think Rafi Al-Fazeev is going to make his way back up to the top.
yeah.
Justin
I
Gaethje made a masterclass.
Yeah,
out of it, dude.
yeah, Justin Gaethje did.
He
but
showed
I
him that
think,
there were
I
levels.
think he's going to be back up there. I think just
He
give him
could.
time, he'll be back.
This
up
was
there.
crazy. Alex has black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Okay, this
His
was
shorts
the
are
dumbest
so
shit
cool.
ever. What do you mean? He just knocked the guy. He didn't do any jujitsu.
Black belt.
Why are you
It's
doing
an automatic black
Talk-
belt.
talk-
Knock the fuck
talking
out,
about jiu-jitsu, though, we totally
Oh yeah, we got
sidetracked.
very on the rails
Let's circle this back.
here. Okay.
So we were talking about your start in the fundamentals. You know, we got into Amanda. We're kind of around there. So what? I guess we were talking
Amanda
about like.
was the fundamentals coach at that time, and then Coach Morgan, Matizak, he was the assistant coach, and I enjoyed learning from both of them, and then I just really liked just like the competitive atmosphere. Like it kind of scared me at first, you know, but
Yeah.
it definitely like brought out something like that I liked in myself, so I just kept doing it.
What did it feel like? I mean, obviously you probably like tap people and tap that like when you did it in gi like growing up, but like being here, was that an adjustment at first? Like someone like jumping on a guillotine or something, or?
No, like we were talking about when we were smoking outside, like I like got beat up pretty hard by my sister as a kid. Like we would just scrap a lot. Like I beat her up too,
Yeah.
but like I was smaller, so I think that didn't shock me as much. I kind of like that. Like I've always like rough housing and stuff.
Yeah,
But
like the scrap.
I think for me it was like just like the cardio was hard and like
Yeah.
made me push, and I like that. But the violent part of it didn't really like. I like that part.
That's what
yeah.
kept you coming back.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, actually, like, Joe made a comment, Joe Leal, our dear friend and coach.
Yeah.
He made
What,
a
what
comment
is
to me.
the wrestling coach?
Wrestling coach and
also.
stepdad for advanced class
Yes.
when Phil's out of town. Yeah, but he like told me something like earlier when I think like toward when I first got my blue belt about how like there were times when I first started out when I didn't know any jiu-jitsu where he was saying that I was like more successful sometimes because I was just like trying to break someone's arm. And then
Yeah.
like I've started to try and be like a lot more technical, and then I'm like not ripping on things
You're
as
not
much.
as aggressive.
Yeah, I'm like trying to tone down the aggression, but now I'm trying to like incorporate it back in, and I feel like that's kind of where
Sorry.
my new goal is like how can I be as technical as possible while also being as aggressive as possible.
Mm.
So that's
No, yeah, I could relate to that. Like, well, I feel like it was like when you start, like, you almost have to be like super aggressive because that's like what you're relying on.
you're like tense. Like
you're
all
tense.
the people are like super tense all the time.
Because obviously you're kind
This
of.
guy over here, Michael's super tense. When you
Get
roll
You look pretty good in your first competition, dude.
yeah.
But
Michael gets there, he's trying to fucking kill everyone. I love it.
but I mean that's how it is though. It's
Yeah.
like that's what you're working with. But now like for you like learning all this technique all the time and like really perfecting your craft. It's like it's easy to want to just like I don't know like slowly work on a move and like.
I've been liking doing the.
But then when you're in
eco stuff.
competition though, like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe are you feeling like that in the training room? Because in competition, I don't think you're like that.
Dude, in competition, I've been more aggressive lately,
Yeah.
and
Because it's kill or be killed. It's like
yeah,
only one. It's just like it's a fight. One of you.
one of us is
walking
gonna.
away.
Yeah, exactly. And lately, I've been having to fight girls that are like bigger than me by a lot, so my strategy is very different. You know, like I've been working a lot on like wrestling and being on top, and then when I have a opponent where I feel like that strategy is going to be like really difficult for me, I'll just default to like pulling guard and getting into a leg entanglement.
Yeah.
and then like it's not really what I want to do, but it's just like what I'm gonna do, and I feel like I can be really aggressive there because there's like distance between us, you know.
So are you blue belt currently?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that work when you like go to actually move up? Was it brown belt? Is that the next one?
Purple.
Purple
Yeah.
belt. How does that work? You know, working up to that next belt.
I don't know. I don't really think about belts very much. 1 second. Yeah, I think about like just like improving like what I need to work on. There's a lot of things I really need to work on, and I feel like
never enough.
Yeah. So
are you competing pretty frequently then?
So
Yeah,
I guess I wanted to ask like when did the competing start and what made you like, because you compete a good bit. I mean, you're definitely one of the more active competitors at 10th Planet Portland. So like, what got you to like really want to push for that, you know?
I think like 6 months in, Morgan was like, oh, do you want to come to compete at this thing in Seattle? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I signed up, and then I got super nervous and didn't do very well at all. And then the last girl that beat me gave me like a shot of tequila in the parking lot, and I was like, all right, this isn't so bad. Things are all right.
So she just like, hey, I got a shot for you.
Would you ever, you know, make that transition into MMA? Do you think, or do you?
No. I did like striking for a little bit. I just don't want to get like hit in the head like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know that's some serious like damage you can take.
Yeah, like
If
I'm trying to like
damage.
have like, you know, decent life when I'm older. So yeah.
But there's risk to everything, you know. Also in jiu-jitsu, it's not
It's not totally.
they call
easy.
it
I mean,
gentle art, but it's
I've hurt myself really bad.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I'm always kind of fucking injured. You know, like hurting my rib recently just sucked a lot because like I couldn't like physical therapy my way out of it. You know, you just have to like not laugh for like a few weeks. You know.
Oh man.
so easy to pop it out too.
Oh, it was a rib issue.
Yeah, it just like separated from the cartilage, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to like wait for it to go back.
Yeah.
So I started like injecting myself with all kinds of shit, you know. But now it's good now. But like even like if I'm in like taking a lot of like heavy pressure, like I'll feel it start to like slip out, and I'm like, oh fuck, like do I want to sacrifice this for just like training?
Yeah.
Do I just
it's
have
not
to
worth-
pressure?
It's not worth it. So you did that first competition. Did you jump right back into more right away, or were you like, okay, let me rethink a little bit, or? how did
Yeah,
that
I
go?
just kind of like just sent it.
Balls to the wall, baby.
Yeah, I really hated losing. Like I always hate losing. Like sometimes I cry after I lose, but I also just like it makes me so motivated to like win, you know. So I
Yeah.
just like I lost so much at white belt. It was so bad. Like I'm surprised anyone fucking believed in me. But it was dope. Like
Well, you got that experience. You know, you got better and better.
Yeah. And now it's
each
like-
time.
I would hate like now having to compete for the first time and like having to go up against someone who's had like 30 matches. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it does get easier and easier in a way, because you get the process down, you learn how to control your emotions and
Yeah.
strategize better, your techniques better, but also you're going against, the higher you get, the more you're going against people that have done the same thing and maybe more, so that's the interesting part of things.
Yeah. I really want to have like matches. At this point, I just want to fight anyone. Like I want to fight like the
Hell
best
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like I want matches with people that I'm like 1,000% gonna lose to. You know.
And just for that
And just
test,
try.
Yeah.
Just try.
Are you rolling against people that are like in those competitions? Are they just blue belts, or are you going against people that are brown? Brown.
You've been going against like. pretty
Yeah,
much
I mean,
any
I won
belt at this
the
point.
elite bracket this
Yeah.
last time at Sub League, which is like technically a brown black belt bracket, but there were no brown or black belts in it. It was me and then like some other purple belts. And I beat all of the purple belts, but I wasn't surprised because I don't think that.
I'm not surprised.
I was gonna say,
motherfucker.
someone give her that
What's that-
purple
what's that
belt
quote?
already.
No,
I'm not surprised.
I don't mean it like that. I just mean like I think purple belt means different things. You
Yeah.
know, like there are competition purple belts who are like really really good, and then there's like people who like just like keep showing up and like compete once in a while, or not, and then like get their purple belts. So it's like, and like all belts, right? Like you can get a black belt and never compete, right? So I'm not surprised I beat those specific girls, but there are purple belts, there are blue belts out there that would beat me. So.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's still impressive though, being able to say, yeah, like I won an elite bracket that had purple belts in there.
Yeah.
I did beat them, and I think it's ready for that step up.
And you've medaled in the ADCC tournament.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a top.
So that's what this is.
I medaled in 2 of them.
But this, I think this might. Oh, this is the Open. This is.
Yeah, it's Andy
We're gonna take a
Varela
break for a
versus
second.
Kyle
Take a
Chambers.
break. Yeah. We're back at it. So what? We were just talking about like you're competing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like future kind of what stuff coming up that you're looking at?
I signed up for Grappling Industries and Sub League, both in May, like Portland area, but there's like pretty much no one to fight in my bracket, so I'm not sure like how that'll go. And then ADCC, like
Dallas.
maybe Dallas. I'm thinking about Dallas. I'm thinking about just like anything they have going on in like July too. I'm gonna be traveling in June to the East Coast, so anything there. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any competition stuff like coming up. I like I said, I'll fight anyone.
You heard
That's
heard
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Anyone,
that's-
anywhere.
Yeah.
Good to hear for your folks.
I want
What's,
I want to fight all the girls that beat me before. I want to bracket.
What's your preferred style of tournament? Sub only points? Do you like the ADCC rule set?
I like both. I like sub only right now. I think ADCC is like a hard rule set, but it's also something I'm working on a lot, just like scoring positions and stuff. But I like the pressure of having to submit someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference between like an ADCC score set compared to like some of these other tournaments? Is there like a
It's like 3 minutes, no points, and then
no points?
3 minutes points.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're doing two different type. You said 3 minutes.
No points, and then like you continue going like rolling and having your match, and then
Oh, so it's kind of a long match.
it's 6 minutes.
They
plus
get
a 3
longer
minute
too.
overtime.
Like if you go to like the ADCC Worlds, like they're like finals matches or what, like 20 minutes or something like
I
that.
don't know, they're long.
They're long matches. But yeah, versus like some other rule sets might just be like a sub only, or there might be a points the whole time. Like Grappling Industries is 6 minutes points the whole time. So there's so many different rule sets in
So
Jiu-Jitsu.
you guys are more fans of the sub only then?
Yeah, I mean, right now, yeah.
Sub only's cool. I really like the ADCC just because of like the environment and
Yeah.
the people you're competing against.
It's like next level.
I think they have like the ultimate competitor environment right now. But I did really just enjoy the PGF.
I
know
think
you
that's
like
the
it.
future.
That's
yeah.
a really cool style like tournament. You know, having teams. They had fantasy leagues, so you can draft like people to your fantasy.
They're making it
team.
more of
Cool.
like an accessible sport.
More
for people.
modern. Yeah, I really liked it. You know, and it really gave people a chance to be like a fan of somebody because you have a whole week of watching them compete 3 times a day. So like you get to see their personality, you get to see their style, like you get to see. It's like a whole attrition. It's a whole week. Like some of those guys had like 15 matches throughout 4 days.
It's crazy.
And that recovery must be tough. But it's a really, like, I know you're saying, like, would you hope to do something like that in the future?
I would love to. I would love to do, like, that many matches so close together. Like, can you imagine how much better that would make you?
That's,
Like,
well, I was telling you,
yeah.
that's like almost a whole year, if not like half a year of competing in like 1 week right there. Because your average tournament, maybe you face like 4 people, maybe 4 to 6 people. I mean, 6 is a lot, but like maybe a sub league you'd have like 6 people.
Sometimes for me it's like 2.
Sometimes it's like 2, but like this, you're going a whole straight week, like guaranteed like 3 matches a day.
Mhm.
It's like
Jeez.
that's
a
a
lot.
lot of it, and they're all high level people. They're all people being picked out from around, you know, or like doing a qualifying tournament to go into it.
Yeah, it's not just like some nobodies.
And there's
Wait, you
actually
don't have to
money.
be you don't have to go through the actual things. You can get picked.
Yeah, some of those guys like a PJ Barch or Andy Varela is like, all right, these guys are like
High level competitors.
ADCC competitors, like just really high level competitors in general. So it's just like, yeah, we're just obviously gonna just like hand select those guys. But then you have, well, the cool thing about PGF is they have like, they'll bring like up and comers with these like solidified guys. So like
So they pick them out of other tournaments too,
out of like, well, just other competitors, yeah,
like other leagues.
just like jiu-jitsu competitors around.
There aren't other
Yeah.
leagues.
There
Well,
aren't
no, I meant
other
like the
leagues, yeah.
PFG or PGF. They'll
PGF.
pick people from like the PGF to go into like the ADCC Opens and
No.
stuff. Or
No.
Or, like-
no, they're just
Oh, okay.
competitors in general. Like most of those guys do all of these tournaments, But for the PGA, like you know Jet Thompson. I know Andrew knows Jet Thompson.
Dude, he's like.
He went to the finals in this PGF playoffs, and he was like, not on. I mean, he was on people's radars, but I feel like he was like
17.
he was not like a he was not like a top ranked guy going into that like PJ
and he's not like a wrestler either. He's like very like guard pull heavy.
He's
like,
such a good leg locker, and his arm bars.
Mm-hmm.
Really
he
cool.
plays like side guard, which is really unique.
Yeah, that's where he catches a lot of his arm bars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I really hope you can do that. Can do that down the road here.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of time for that.
Yeah. So I don't know what else. What else do we want to get into? I know we had some crazy stuff we were talking off camera.
Oh yeah, we were talking about just like before I was in Portland, my life was like very different.
Yeah, it's crazy how many. So you've been through like all of the United States, and you've
Most
been
of them, yeah.
pretty international too.
Yeah, I've traveled a lot. I haven't traveled a lot recently, but yeah, before Portland, I was living in New York. Before that, I was in France. Yeah.
France.
Mm-hmm.
France, is that a worthwhile place visiting or?
Oh, I mean, it was definitely then. I don't know about now. I know they have like a bad immigration problem. Like,
Really?
yeah, I've heard it's like crazy now.
I've heard all of France is nice except Paris.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Except Paris.
Except Paris.
Yeah.
I thought Paris was like.
Well, no, that's
one of
where
the
it's
best
like the
hotspots.
no, it's because it's like a super tourist location, so it's
that's
only
probably
tourist
makes
people.
sense,
But if you really want to experience France, you gotta like go outside of Paris.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
same
I
thing
was
with like
mostly in
Italy, Germany. You gotta go outside to like the other places to like actually.
What are some good parts of Germany?
I didn't really travel around in Germany too much. I traveled around Italy, but not much in Germany.
What are the better parts of Italy? I guess that goes for both.
Where she was at, Como is super nice because they have that lake over there. Garda, Florence, they have the American college over there. That's like an art school. So like you go there from like being around a whole bunch of Italians and you see a whole bunch of Americans, and it's kind of cool to just be around a bunch of Americans again.
Yeah.
Or
Southern Italy.
Yeslo, Southern Italy,
Sardinia.
Sardinia is super
Is there
nice.
a lot of English. It's a lot of English speaking, right?
In the north, a lot of people speak English.
Yeah, well, and in like most of Europe, most Europeans speak like 4 languages. Like I've met girls that have like, or like guys that speak like 5 or 6 languages.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the thing there because everything's so close that everybody is going everywhere.
It'd be so cool to be able to speak like. Do you speak any other languages or is it just English?
I like learned Mandarin when I was a kid in school.
Oh, I forgot you were
Damn.
like.
Yeah.
Can you read it?
I can read some of
She's a
it.
spy.
Damn, that's
Not
crazy.
a lot.
She's a spy.
She's a spy.
That's
Sure.
crazy because Mandarin's one of the hardest languages to learn like in the world.
Huh?
Mandarin, it's like one of the hardest languages in the world to
Super,
learn.
yeah. It was easier when you're young. Like I think I couldn't learn it now, but as a kid it wasn't that hard.
Why do you think it becomes like harder to like pick up things or learn things? Like,
Your brain
brain's
becomes
just
more
filled up with
development.
stuff.
Yeah, your brain is already developed. When you're younger, your brain is developing, so you can add more like neural
so
connections.
When it is developing, it's easier
Yeah.
to learn things like that.
Are you like are adults just like less like I guess willing to? Is that the problem? Like they're just like.
I don't think it's less willing. I think it's just like you're not like you know too many things already. Like you're more set in your ways, so it's harder for you to like look at things totally new.
And try to think of it like relearning language. You're learning the exact basics that a 4-year-old's learning in that country. So it's just kind of different, I feel like.
Is there anything you did as a kid that you don't do anymore that you like wish you could re-pick up?
Like reading more.
Reading.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Like with
Especially now,
with technology and stuff. Like I feel like it's hard to
like
like.
just picking up a book and reading is like.
What kind of reading? Like fiction or.
I like reading nonfiction a lot. Like I like reading like history and like just like
More like
events.
documentary,
Yeah.
like real life.
Where-
Real